Hello and welcome to another video. Okay, so today we are going to be doing a January TBR of sorts / it's going to be more just about my reading goals in general for the rest of the year. I'm uploading this pretty late because I am filming it pretty late. My January has just been kind of chaotic in the best way, honestly. I mean, it started off with me being sick for New Year's, unfortunately, but then it was my best friend's birthday, it was my birthday, it was my boyfriend's birthday, and now it's my mom's birthday this weekend. So it's a really packed month of fun celebrations, but because of that, I feel like I've been go and have not had time to sit down and film, which was really sad, and I kind of missed it. So I'm glad that I'm back. But yes, like I said, today I will be talking about my TBR, my goals for the month overall, and etc. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is just some of my New Year's reading goals, things that I want to push myself to do in terms of reading this year. And I feel like in the past few years, I've been very comfortable with my reading. I've stuck to things that I know I'm going to like, and genres that I already like, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think that's a good way to have a good reading year, because if you kind of already know you're going to like it, then your ratings are usually higher, which is good because I just want to like what I read. However, that being said, I do kind of want to push myself to branch out a little bit more this year and try new things and try things that I don't normally, not normally super into. Like, for instance, I really want to try to read more non-fictions this year. I have read a handful of like biographies and autobiographies throughout the years. But it's not a genre I necessarily reach for, and I do want to extend past just like memoirs, biographies, and actually read some like nonfiction. I feel like I have a few in mind, not a ton, but there's definitely a few that I think that I want to delve into. And I also think that my issue in the past is that I've chosen nonfiction books with like a genre that I thought I was really gonna like, or like a subject, and then the writing threw me off and I didn't really like it. So I think my strategy is to try to find books that are already highly regarded, like in the nonfiction genre, and try those, because if they're like widely regarded as good, I feel like I'll have a better chance of enjoying them. I know one of them, I think maybe I'll try out like Braiding Sweetgrass. And now I'm like totally blanking on all the other ones I want to read, but just that in general. Also, I don't read a ton of lit fic. I feel like I can branch into that a little bit more. And I'm sure there's a few more genres that I just like haven't given a chance to as much, just because I really love to read the things I like to read. I really like thrillers and romance and fantasy and horror, etc. So yeah, maybe just every once in a while I try to throw a new one in there. Also, in the coming weeks and months and whatever, I want to do like fun little challenges to push myself to try new things as well. I also love watching people like choose their TBR based off a specific challenge. I'm not sure what it is about it. I think I just like the gamified aspect of it. So I will be doing that. And then with that being said, I guess that will lead into my next topic for the year, is that I will be trying to participate in Books and Lala's reading buzzword and cover challenge of the year. If you don't know, Books and Lala, I'll put her somewhere here. She is another booktuber. She's one of my favorite booktubers, and every year she does this kind of like challenge, like bingo almost, where she will create 12 title challenges for the year, for one for each month, and then 12 separate cover challenges for the year. And it's just kind of like a fun little challenge to like push yourself to try things you've never tried, maybe, or just like, you know, it's just like, it's almost like a scavenger hunt. So I want to do that this year, just like for fun. And I'll talk about that some more later. So definitely want to do that. I also kind of am thinking about doing something in my journal like this, like a little bingo chart maybe, or some kind of like check mark, or I don't know, something like that in my journal to kind of keep track. I might also like print out the buzzword challenge and maybe print it there and like paste it in there, to kind of keep track of that, just because I think it's fun. I feel like gamifying stuff like that makes as just like an extra kind of like fun element to reading. Not to say that reading should be competitive or anything like that. I know there's a lot of discourse about that, especially at the end of the year. But I just think any way to like kind of push yourself and do something different is a fun thing to do. So I will be doing those things. I'm very excited. But let's get into my January TBR. Because we are already so far into the month, I have started reading quite a few things. So I'm just going to tell you some of the things that I've picked up so far. So one of the first books on my TBR for the year is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I will put it somewhere here. And not only is this my first TBR book of the year, but it is already fulfilling the first Buzzword challenge for the Buzzword challenge of the year. The first challenge for the cover, yes, for the cover is anything inside your body, I think, or something like that. So the cover, I'll put it here or here somewhere, and it is a like CT scan of a brain of like a skull. So check that one off. So that's exciting. And this is did I already say it's by Holly Jackson, who she is primarily known for writing YA thrillers, which I really enjoyed her Good Girl's Guide to Murder series a lot. And then I read a few of her other ones too, and I thought they were pretty good. I just think that A Good Girl's Guide to Murder was like her best series and her best books so far. But I'm really excited about this. This is her first adult thriller, which I think will like bring in an interesting element. And it is about a girl who is attacked on Halloween night and leaves her with a brain injury that will essentially kill her in 7 days. Thus, she must find her attacker/murderer before her time runs out. And I just think that's a really interesting premise and sounds like it's going to be such a good thriller. I love Holly Jackson's like ability to create suspense and like kind of sometimes fear. And I'm so excited to pick that one up. The next book I have to read is Spider to the Fly. I saw this while I was browsing in a bookstore the day after my birthday. Actually, I just like spent like an hour and a half going through this bookstore, reading all the covers or the backs of books and stuff to like see what was interesting, because I feel like I haven't done that in a while. And this is by, I can't remember, actually, let me look. This is by J.H. Markert, and they also wrote Sleep Tight, which is another thriller, and I really enjoyed that one. I thought it was a very unique storyline and very suspenseful. Got a little bit crazy in the end, I will say. I feel like that one almost lost me, almost went off the rails, but I think it worked enough that I was still there. And honestly, I do love a crazy thriller story, so I'm excited to pick this one up. It is about a woman who is tracking down this serial killer based off of this like app and network that she created to catch him, I think, called the Spider Network. Yeah, it just sounds really interesting. Another great thriller. I will say there's I'm reading a lot of thrillers this month, and I have to say it's because I started my reading a little later because I had so many things going on, and thrillers I just get through really fast and they like keep my attention, which I feel like I just needed for January to like get back into it, because I feel like with the holidays, with all my birthdays, with being sick, I was really feeling a little scattered, and I just needed something light and easy to get me back on track. And then the rest of the year I'll be able to branch out a little bit more and like fulfill my goals that I want to fulfill. So just wanted to make that disclaimer. The next one is not a thriller. This is Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is kind of hard to say, but this is a book I got while strolling around in the bookstore that day, which was so funny. They literally, I had two different workers come up to me and ask like, do you need any help? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just browsing. But I guess I was in there for a long time. The front register was like, wow, you've been browsing for a while. I was like, yeah. I didn't know it was illegal to spend several hours in a bookstore. God forbid. But anyway, so I picked this one up. I have been kind of eyeing it for a while, and I feel like a lot of people really like this, like last year, maybe the year before. And actually, I do feel like this is me branching out a little bit, because I think it is kind of more sci-fi in like genre, not like fantasy or anything. But I was just so intrigued by it. It is about a guy named Carl who his world basically gets destroyed, and his only option is to enter a game show, like an intergalactic game show where a bunch of like people from different like universes and like basically aliens will watch him. It's like reality TV, go through several layers of this game. And on top of that, he's had to bring his girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut. So I just feel like that sounds really up my alley and really funny and interesting. And so I'm really excited about this one. I feel like it's just going to be really different than what I normally read and like fun, and will keep my attention, which is exactly what I need this month. Okay, the last book I have on my January TBR is After That Night by Karen Slaughter. This is another thriller. Like I said, there's a lot of thrillers, but this fulfills my second challenge for the Buzzword Challenge, and this is for the title challenge. The challenge is to read a book with either after or before in the title. This is about a doctor who one night while they're on shift, she gets a patient with injuries from a sexual assault she went through, and the girl basically asked her to make sure that the man who did this to her, you know, he gets in trouble for it. And then once this doctor starts to investigate a little bit more and try to put the man who did this behind bars, etc., she finds some eerie coincidences that relate back to her sexual assault 15 years in the past. And then it becomes basically a crazy web of trying to figure out if and how they are connected. So this definitely sounds really interesting. Karen Slaughter is known for her thrillers. This is, however, and I did not realize this when I kind of chose it, but I think it's fine. It is the 11th book in a series, but it is one of those where it's like a detective series where it's like the same detective, but they're different cases, essentially kind of like a Criminal Minds episode. So I don't think it'll affect the overall storyline as much. I think it's just like gonna be the same detective in it. But yeah, so I'm really excited to start that. I think it'll be really good. I do think it is gonna be maybe a little bit heavy with the subject matter, so if you are interested, I would definitely check any trigger warnings on that. That is my January TBR and some of my goals for the new year. I'm really excited for this year. I feel like I just have like a lot of things that I'm excited to branch out with my reading and just to catalog things a little bit more and just have fun with it and with this channel. So I'm just really looking forward to the year ahead, and I hope that you will join me on my journey. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.